WrestleMania 40 is just a little over a week away. There's rumors that MJF is actually done with AEW. I don't know if that's really the case, but why not fantasy book? What if MJF shows up at WrestleMania 40? Now, this video is going to be broken down into 3 different phases: before MJF debuts, MJF's actual debut, and then post WrestleMania debut for MJF. Now, phase 1 is actually really easy, so let's talk about it. Phase 1 is actually the easiest part to fantasy book because Roman Reigns has a very simple formula in all of his matches. Literally every single one of Roman Reigns' matches has some sort of family getting involved. Ref bump, Uso comes in, super kick, somebody gets thumbed, and then Roman Reigns picks up the win. Maybe after a spear or Superman punch or whatever. But there's always some sort of distraction. There's always some sort of ref bump. So in this particular case, that is exactly what is going to happen. This time, it's going to be from a debuting Tama Tonga. Tama Tonga has been rumored to come to the WWE. There's been rumors that he's going to be in NXT as Stand and Deliver. But for this particular fantasy booking video, let's say he joins the Bloodline. This is all for fun, right? So now you have Solo Sikoa, Jimmy Uso, The Rock, Roman Reigns, and Tama Tonga beating Cody Rhodes' ass. Cody Rhodes is getting his ass beat, and now the WWE Avengers come out. Sami Zayn, Jey Uso, Kevin Owens, and that brings us to phase 2. Now keep in mind the Bloodline is just way too strong. Cody, Sami Zayn, Jey Uso, Kevin Owens, you know, they're trying their best. These are the baby faces, but they just simply can't do enough to take away the Bloodline. And this is when all the lights go out, and this is a completely overbooked mess that doesn't need to happen, but WWE is trying to get everybody talking. So sure enough, when the lights go out, MJF's music hits. And when MJF's music hits, MJF is able to walk out to the ring, and Cody Rhodes and Roman Reigns and everybody in the ring is in disbelief. And you actually think that maybe MJF is going to attack Cody Rhodes, but in fact, MJF with his diamond ring ends up punching Roman Reigns. And if he punches Roman Reigns goes down, and then Cody Rhodes becomes Super Cody Rhodes and hits 3 beautiful crossroads. Now Cody Rhodes and MJF hug, and MJF stands in the ring tall as Cody finishes his story with all of the Avengers holding up their arms in celebration, of course, over a Prime logo in the center of the ring. Now, in my opinion, this is where we get to the very best part of the booking, because phase 3 is actually where things get serious. Now, I understand that phase 2 was completely and utterly chaotic, but that's usually how it is with WWE and these massive storylines. They always have to be overbooked. Post WrestleMania 40, it's important that WWE carefully and elaborately plans out all of the minuscule details to make this work. Now, what's actually really interesting here that you got to keep in mind, going into WrestleMania 41, WWE will actually be building 2 long-term storylines here. One being The Rock turning on Roman Reigns, and Cody Rhodes being turned on by his best friend, the one who saved WrestleMania 40, MJF. Now, WWE over the course of the next year will have tons of major events, and a lot of these premium live events will include matches, you know, MJF, Kevin Owens, Sami Zayn, Jey Uso, Cody Rhodes versus the Bloodline in some fashion, right? Now, at some point, Cody is going to need fresh matchups, so this is where Cody might have to take side quests, therefore defending his belt against, you know, guys like Randy Orton or maybe a heel AJ Styles, whatever it may be. There's going to be a lot of stories to carry WWE forward. However, the main premise of everything will ultimately lead to Cody being backed up by his best friend MJF. Now, we got to keep in mind at this time period, MJF does not want to lose credibility. So I think the best thing to do for MJF in the WWE in this particular situation is actually have MJF win the United States Championship at some point. This way, even though he is associated and very close with Cody Rhodes, MJF is the one who is actually having high profile matches in the US title scene, right? So you could have a lot of different opponents. It doesn't matter, fantasy book however you choose, but MJF winning the US championship actually allows him to do the one thing that is the most important thing, and that is ultimately turn on Cody Rhodes. The one thing that's actually really cool about this is that WWE has been building up their US and Intercontinental Championship to actually mean something again in 2024. So if MJF were to be a mid-card champion, it actually wouldn't be a bad thing at all, especially when he uses that as his ultimate way to get to the top, screw Cody Rhodes, and get the one thing that he actually wants, which is his WrestleMania moment at WrestleMania 41 in Minnesota. Now you might be wondering, how does MJF actually turn on Cody? Well, it doesn't happen the way you think. In this particular scenario, I would have MJF in the Royal Rumble and he would make it to the bottom 3. Now, at this point in the bottom 3, you could have Gunther in there, but you need to have somebody that was part of the original WWE Cody Rhodes WrestleMania 40 Avengers squad. Whether it's Sami Zayn, Jey Uso, or Kevin Owens, you need one of those 3 to be in the final 3, because this would allow MJF to inadvertently turn heel by cheating to throw out the babyface. So Gunther gets thrown out by Sami Zayn, for example. Then you have Sami Zayn versus MJF in the final 2, and you think it's going to be all fine and dandy because they were babyfaces together at WrestleMania 40. But MJF does the unthinkable, hits a low blow, throws Sami Zayn over the top rope to win the Royal Rumble. Cody Rhodes confronts him and says that's not cool. And MJF says, hey, I just did what I have to do. This is actually my favorite part because it's part of long-term stories. You know, WWE is putting it in your face. They're giving you the hints. They're giving you the Easter eggs, and it's up to you to decide whether or not you want to follow along. After this conversation with Cody Rhodes, MJF actually lays off the heel tactics. MJF starts to cool down and starts to realize that he doesn't need to be cheating to win. You know, he's going to have to make a decision, Cody Rhodes or the World Heavyweight Championship, but he's going to choose Cody Rhodes as a friendly bout, right? This is him confronting Cody, saying, hey, it's just going to be me and you as friends. Nobody I would rather share the moment with. WrestleMania 41, we're going to headline. And look, obviously the cool thing about this is that MJF is playing into more of a babyface character, even though we know the devil is hiding in the grass. And that is when we get to WrestleMania 41. Let's say it's in Las Vegas or Minnesota. This is not going to be the night 2 main event because MJF will officially cement his heel turn and he will turn on Cody Rhodes to win. And obviously he will be paraded with boos. And it just, I think this is so funny because this is very chaotic storytelling, but when you really think about it long term, if this was even possible, this would be the best thing for MJF in the long term of WWE, because MJF would be featured so much on TV, but it would allow MJF to effectively be the best storyteller in WWE. You wouldn't know whether or not to believe MJF is a good guy or a bad guy, but as always, MJF disappoints. I don't know. I love fantasy booking. Fantasy booking is absolutely fun, and the idea of Cody Rhodes being turned on by MJF, it is so obvious, but if you rush it, it doesn't become compelling TV. So if you allow this to go on for months and months and months and you don't really lean into it too often, then you get some really amazing storytelling, and that's actually the most important part. MJF showing up is a big deal, but MJF showing up and being part of the show in a much bigger story is even better. Now, keep in mind, I just want to point this out. Guys, I don't think MJF is showing up in WWE, but I think it is so incredibly fun to even think about the possibilities and doing fantasy booking like this. So if you like this kind of video, go ahead and click subscribe. And if you hate it, guys, there's nothing harmless about this. I want to hear your best fantasy booking scenarios, but this could be really fun if it actually played out on TV. Sometimes wrestling is better when it's just wacky and chaotic and overbooked. And sometimes wrestling is just better when you can come up with multiple different ideas. So let me know what you guys think in the comment section down below, and I'll see you next time.